Hi everyone, Grayson here and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm super excited because I get to finally plant up this beautiful flower bed that I've been working on for a couple of weeks. So the last time that I saw you, I was pulling all the weeds and widening this bed, and today I get to fill it full of all these beautiful things that I've been collecting. Now I do have shrubs, I've got perennials, I've got ground covers and annuals, and I'm just looking forward to making this bed as full as possible. Now I have two anchor plants in this flower bed already. I have this beautiful Emperor 1 Japanese maple, and on the other end by the driveway, I have 3 of the Natchez crepe myrtles. This flower bed is a little different because of the light conditions. It has dappled sun, it has full sun, and it has full shade at times. This is on the northwest corner of my home, and I have filled up a wheelbarrow full of things that I think will fit beautifully here. For starters, I have this Proven Winners SunJoy Gold Pillar. Next to it, I have the Southern Living Orange Rocket. Now, when I saw these two beside each other, I thought, yep, those are the two that are going in this bed. Now, this gold pillar is hardy in growing zones 4 through 8. It's going to get anywhere from 3 to 4 feet tall and 1.5 to 2 feet wide. The Orange Rocket is hardy in growing zones 5 through 9, and it's also going to grow 4 feet tall by 1.5 feet wide. These beautiful coast to coast Hosta, which I have down in the bottom, I thought I would bring a few up here. I have ground cover, this Burgundy Glow Ajuga. I have lamb's ear, I have Dusty Miller, I have all types of things. I have these Impatients, which are like a fuchsia color, and I thought, you know, I may or may not use these, but I wanted to bring everything out so I could fill this bed up. Now, before I get planting, I'm gonna fill this bed up with some compost, and I usually use the Black Cow there in the bright yellow bag. And then I also use my Espoma starter fertilizer. That will go in each hole before I plant these flowers. So what do you say? Let's go ahead and get started. And I'm going to place these about 1.5 feet apart, or about 18 inches. Now I think what I want to do is, since this is kind of shady, I want to shift it down just a bit to be more in the sun, in case I want to use this area for annuals. So let's start maybe here. And again, I want to keep these in the bed. I don't want them to encroach over into the lawn or over onto the sidewalk. now I have the rest of this area to play around with. I'm gonna do Hosta and Ajuga, Dusty Miller, all of it, and I'm just gonna pack this bed out. Okay, y'all, here is the finished bed, weeded, mulched, and look at how beautiful all the colors pop now. So remember, this corner flower bed by the driveway was chock full of weeds. Look at that. The black mulch really sets it off. And then as we wrapped right along this flower bed, look at how beautiful this bed turned out, y'all. I'm telling you, these sun gold pillar barberries just really glow. And right alongside of the Southern Living orange rocket, and then I carried the theme of the pink right on around, right on up into this bed. I am very pleased with this. I decided to do Dusty Miller. I decided to do a few more of the lime coast to coast hostas here, and here. I have a Ajuga, which is a ground cover dotted throughout 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. It covers a huge area in my front yard. And this is all under a big Japanese maple here. So seeing the grand scale of things is perfectly scaled. I mean, it could have come out even further, but I love it. I think it turned out beautifully. And I'm going to be adding things to this bed as we go. I would like some evergreen interest. I decided not to use the butterfly bush. I was going to put the pugster right here, and I still may. But I'm thrilled with the way that this bed turned out. I think the mulch really caps it off. I love the sweeping motion of it. Okay, y'all, that's going to do it for today's project. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I'm thrilled with the way that this bed turned out. I think it is absolutely beautiful. Thank you for watching Gardening with Grayson, and I will see you in the next video.